Good morning, everybody. This is Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have some sketchy cards, I guess is where I'll start today. So Freshly Made Sketches put out this pretty simple and sweet card design. I actually made one recently for my bundle to go that was very similar to this. So I'm going to play with some Designer Series paper from the Share What You Love DSP because I had scraps of that sitting on my table. And I have another one, if we have enough time, that's all in greens. But let me go ahead and talk about my ideas and then we'll put my cards together. So this paper just really calls to me. I really love all those colors. And I like pairing it with the Petal Pink, which is our new pink in our settles. So here is where I started. I was going to put a strip here on the bottom. Okay, that coordinates with the color, and then pop this one up on top and have that be my card. But then as I was looking at it more, I thought, you know, why don't we make this part the card? So I cut a piece of my white cardstock down to make that a card. So I'm going to face this and then put that on top of the backer with that layer. So let's go ahead and do that because that'll go together pretty quickly. So I'm just going to put some snail on the back of this paper here. Do you ever find sometimes you just need some nice cards that you can use as note cards or thank yous? So you don't necessarily want it to have specific words on it, you just want it to work for your need at the time. So this is a nice simple sketch where you could work up a bunch of different cards with some of our beautiful papers and have them ready to go when you need them. So now I'm just going to center that and overlap it on the bottom there. And voila, we have a card following the sketch. Pretty easy, right? And like I said, I pulled all this stuff off of my scrap table from working on my projects from last month. Now I did think about adding Live with Passion, Laugh Out Loud, Love Deeply stamp from the Beautiful You. And I originally was going to put it on this big circle, but then I decided, no, I only want half a circle because I don't want to hide that paper that I like so much. So I'm just going to fold this in half and I'm going to go ahead and just snail it together. Now you could just cut it, but I don't really want a cut edge on this bottom. I want a nice smooth edge, so I'm just going to do that. Now let's see if this works. I'm going to stamp it in Grapefruit Grove just because it's a little bit darker than the Petal Pink. And let's see if I can get this to fit on this half circle. So I'm just going to line up the bottom of my stamp with that straight line from where I folded my circle in half. And look at that, it fits almost like it was meant to be on a half circle. Okay, so now that, if I wanted to, I could add right down here, and now I've got a cute little expression, but I can still use it for really any kind of card I want. So let's go ahead and snail that on as well. Since I doubled it over, it's already pretty thick, so I don't necessarily want to put a dimensional on that. And so I'm just going to put that right at the bottom, and we're going to call that card number 1. Okay, so card number 1, put that off here to the side. Now, sticking with the same idea of this Designer Series paper, I had a whole bunch of bits. Okay, these are about, well, we can measure them. They're 1 inch by 3/4 of an inch. And when I was working on my bundle to go card ideas, I thought it'd be really fun to make a strip of all these different papers, kind of making a border. And then this sketch came up and I said, well, let's give it a try. So we're going to give it a try. So I'm actually going to have this card go this way because I have an idea to use that Beautiful You stamp set again. So I'm going to put my strips, let's see, do I want them down the inside or the outside? I'm going to put them down the outside where it opens. I normally would put it over here, but I want them to really be drawn attention to. So I'm going to put some Tombow down on my edge here so I can add those pieces and slide them around a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to start paper piecing my paper on. So I'm just pushing it kind of right to the edge. So I just keep piecing it next to the one before it. So let's say I've got flowers, I've got that. I guess we'll do this flower. I'm going to alternate kind of my patterns here. Not that it really matters, but just kind of alternate them. So now I want this one. I'm just pushing those down into that adhesive as I go. Let's put on the pink. I like that pink stripe. Okay, now we're going to use the yellow. I'm going to put polka dots on because I really like that polka dot paper. Oop, push that right to the edge of my card. Right on the edge of my card. And then this one's going to go on the end. Actually, I'm going to turn that around because I'm going to trim off the end as it's hanging over a bit. And I want that flower to remain. So just turn that over. Alright, so now we're going to let that dry for a second. Now, while that's drying, I also thought about adding this piece kind of as a buffer there. But before we do that, let's let that dry for a minute and let me go ahead and do the stamping bit I wanted to do. So, from the Beautiful You stamp set, I've got this lady, right? I think she's kind of fun, but I don't know, I've had a hard time putting her on a card, but I decided this was the kind of card I could put her on. So I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to do the Life Looks Beautiful on You, and I'm just going to stamp that with my memento. So I'm going to line that up on my grid sheet so it's up and down, and then I'm going to stamp this on the top. Okay. Yeah, I think I did it. Alright. So now I thought I would just come in with my petal pink marker. And normally I color right to every little line. But I decided I wanted this because it looks like a sketch to kind of be like they do in the art books, you know, when you see fashion art books. And you just kind of have some shading lines in there. So I'm actually not coloring right to my edges. I'm just kind of adding kind of drops of color here, stripes of color along. So, you know, if you copy the card, you can color it however you want to. But I'm just going to kind of do that today. So, I know some of you will like it, some of you won't. So, and I may not like it after I'm done, but we'll see what happens. So that's going to go on like this. And then I was thinking, like I said, to put this piece, do I want it over the top or do I want it underneath? I think I want it over the top so more of that paper shows. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and add our beautiful lady to our card. And then I'm going to go ahead and put just a bead of this Tombow down along the edge of these other papers. Add this strip right along the seams. I'm just pressing that into the Tombow, nice and easy. Okay, now I want to set that aside for a minute because I have one more I want to show you and then we'll come back and we'll trim off all that extra paper, okay? So, for this one, I like the greens in these papers. That's all I can tell you. I like the greens in these papers. And so I decided I was going to do an embossed panel for the main panel here on the sketch. Okay, and then I wanted to pop that up with lots of greens. So I embossed this panel on shimmer white in the Layered These Dynamic folder. Okay, and I'm borrowing from the Rooted in Nature stamp set, the Thinking of You, and I'm bringing in Mossy Meadow. That's the background paper I'm using as my mount there. So this is just going to be real simple. We're just going to layer up all the different size rectangles. Everything's going to have a little bit of a border. This one's going to go right along the bottom. Okay, there's that. This one I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. We're just going to center that, overlapping on the bottom, but centering. Actually, I'm going to flip it around this way. There we go. So do the best there. And then I had these leftover die cut circles, so I'm just going to stamp the thinking of you on there. I think it's going to fit. Cross our fingers, it's going to fit. Yay! Alright, and then that I'm just going to put up on 2 dimensionals as well. And we'll put that over here. So another really easy card with this simple sketch, but you know, thinking of you can use for anything. And I just like the way that this envelope keys in with those really leafy patterns. So I really like the paper. Can you tell? I really like the paper. Alright, so that was the third one. That was the first one. Let's go ahead and back and see if we can trim off this. Now I often tell you when I trim off extra paper, I flip it open. So I'm trimming from like the back side. I like to use the edge of that cardstock as my guide for my scissors. So just like that, we trimmed it off and our card is complete. So there we go, guys. That is our show and tell for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It really is a simple sketch. I hope you try it. Sometimes simple sketches are really nice to play with. You don't have to have super complicated cards to enjoy your stamping or to send beautiful cards. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thumbs up and comments below are appreciated. Let me know you enjoyed what I did today. And if you need the details, subscribe to the Show and Tell News. Comes out every Tuesday, and this week's videos are on next week's edition. Alright everybody, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.